All right, you are watching Liquid Lunch on NEWSMAX TV. I'm Frank Morano, sitting in for John TABACCO. Joining me to my left is the 45th President of the United States, Donald John Trump. Very lucky to be joined by him exclusively, especially on such a monumentous news day in which the House has officially voted to adopt rules regarding the impeachment inquiry. Here to help us break it down is one of America's best-known conservative radio talk show hosts and my colleague here at AM 970 in New York, Kevin McCullough. Kevin, what's your take on what we saw in Washington today?
Mr. President and Mr. Morano, I am thankful to be able to join you on this Halloween. It's the spooks are all out. I mean, the goblins and the ghouls, they're coming. They're bringing death to America. I mean, it's what a momentous, symbolic day to take this vote that is such a complete sham. And I got to tell you, Frank, I'm a little bit disappointed in the 31 district congressional representatives that Trump won overwhelmingly. Only 2 of them peeled off to stay with the Republicans and say that this thing is a train wreck. But all the rest of those 31, they're on the record now. So that includes Max Rose on Staten Island. That includes Josh Gottheimer. That includes Sean Patrick Maloney. That includes, of course, AOC. These are 4 races here in New York City that I think there's a strategy to actually win and be victorious in. These guys may have signed their own death wish on Halloween by taking a vote in front of the entire country to do it. So I don't know. You asked the president, he immediately said, greatest witch hunt in history. Of course, he's just coming off of the greatest witch hunt in history, which was the Russia collusion hoax. This thing is going to make that pale by comparison. And they've officially now, Frank, spent 4 years trying to remove a lawfully elected president. It's really beyond the pale.
Kevin, it's the president. I want to thank you.
Sort of.
I want to thank you for hosting a wonderful event tomorrow with my son, Don Jr., future president, might I add. Ivanka would be a wonderful vice president. Tell me more about this dining event.
Mr. President, I'm sad that you've not been able to confirm your reservation to join us.
I'll be there.
We've got, I don't know, like a couple hundred people.
I will be there.
All right.
You have my word. Many people know I will be there.
So the president, now we can report that the president is now coming tomorrow to join us. But at 3 o'clock, at Bobby Van's Park Avenue, it's called the Original, and it's in the Helmsley building at Park Avenue, right by Grand Central Station. Come early because we are going to have Don Jr., Kimberly Guilfoyle, and then all the people that I think can actually beat those congressional reps that I named who voted in favor of the impeachment today. Their challengers will all be joining us. I'll ask them on the record. Why should we support you in opposition to the person that's there now?
So is this
it's going to be a packed house. It's going to be the biggest party that we have seen on a Friday night in that part of town in quite a while. Nearly 300 reservations standing right now. So, you can get yours, friends, when you call 212-867-5490, but I hope that they will come and be part.
All right. And Kevin, just to be clear, the vote that the House took today, it wasn't an impeachment vote.
No, it was not, and that's important. Good question. No, it was actually to continue the already sham inquiry that they've begun in the investigative committees, and to set the rules in place.
Modern day lynching.
All right.
Well, and here's the thing: you only need to know this. One of the main rules that they approved today will allow GOP to subpoena witnesses in the defense of the president, but only if Adam Schiff gives his blessing to it. It is a fixed, rigged, kangaroo, deep state swamp court that we've not seen the likes of ever.
Schiff, I know I've said it before, but how he's the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, when quite frankly he has no intelligence to begin with, is beyond me. So it'll be more, catch me if you can. I'm looking forward to a great holiday season. Consumers are going to be spending all that money from the great tax cuts we got them. And household income is up so big. American manufacturers are going to sell so much stuff over this Christmas season. It's going to be huge.
Well, and not only that, Mr. President, you're going to have the American people see what a rigged system this is. The only hope that the Democrats have is to use this bully pulpit of this impeachment, this full impeachment proceeding, to kind of gin up an emotional narrative. But when you boil it down to the facts, just like the Mueller report, it's all going to fall apart because there is nothing there. So that's the real dilemma that they're painting themselves into the corner of. And I personally think that Nancy Pelosi may be setting Adam Schiff up to take the entire fall.
Well, let me ask
if it goes bad.
Kevin, on an unrelated note,
yes.
Senators Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham, Republicans both, they took to Twitter earlier to criticize the gentleman to my left and his decision to renew nuclear waivers for Iran. Ted Cruz tweeted, "This is disappointing," and another one, another lost opportunity to tear up the catastrophic Obama-Iran nuclear deal once and for all. That's actually a joint statement, not a tweet, by both Cruz and Graham, two guys that don't necessarily see eye to eye. What do you make of this? What do you make of the president's decision to renew these nuclear waivers? And what do you make of this mounting opposition from within the Republican Senate, which, if the president does get impeached, are the folks that are going to have his back?
Yeah, I don't think that either one of those are in danger of voting in favor of impeachment if the impeachment comes across. And I would like to just know more details about the rationale for the president's move here.
Well,
you know, he surprises people consistently because...
Why don't we ask me? I'm here. You want to know what the rationale was?
What was the rationale?
Kevin? Yes, Mr. President.
Many people are saying that as we get our troops in place for the takeover of Iran, right now we had to give them these waivers to make them think that we're peaceful. But I don't want to say it, but we're planning some serious drone attacks on Iran as we speak.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, you know, the one thing that came out of last week, Frank, to kind of go back to the foundation of your question, you know, killing Baghdadi, and not just Baghdadi, but the number 2 in the ISIS organization, and now they can't find number 3. Nobody wants to be number 3. And do that simultaneously to pulling troops out of Syria, or at least back from the heavy lines of conflict, shows that this president is able to kind of walk and chew gum simultaneously. So I would not be surprised if what the president said just now is actually in some form true, that you're going to have a dual strategy going on, and maybe Cruz and Graham just aren't privy to it.
All right.
When Graham criticized his Syrian troop pullback, he did reverse course a few days later and said, now I see what the president was doing. And I think that this president has earned the benefit of the doubt on these types of things, given that people consistently underestimate what he's doing, and he's almost always been right.
Kevin, thank you very much. You can catch him on the radio and around the world. You can find him on Twitter at KMC Radio. You can check him out. He's all over the place. He's on a rival conservative network. He's all over the place. He's around.
Happy Halloween, guys.
He's tough to miss. Good luck with your event tomorrow. Tell Donald Jr.
It's going to be
Kimberly
huge.
Guilfoyle
It's going to be huge.
We'll look forward to seeing you, Mr. President.
I'll be there.
All right. By the way, some good news for the world and some not so great news for the United States. I'll tell you what it is when we come back. I'm Frank Moreno, sitting in for John Tabacco. Donald Trump here as well. It's a Halloween edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. We'll be right back.